What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope y'all doing good out there. Make sure you put some Carmax on them lips. You know what I'm talking about? Put some Carmax on them lips. You know what I'm talking about? But you are now watching Juke Boy Sports Show. I am your host, Kyng Ralph, the host with the most. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let's do it that way. And turn it around. Yeah, now we good. It's great. It's great. We back in here. We back in here. Hope everybody's doing good out there in TV land. But before we get started, gotta send a little shout out to the sponsor. If you're looking for a clean, jitterless, no crash energy drink, get on your iPhone, iPads, computers, all that good stuff. Look up dubby.com, w.com. Use promo code JUKE, J-U-K, for 20% off. We're gonna get you right. And then make sure while you're here, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Follow us at Juke Network on Facebook. Subscribe at Juke Network. JUK Network on YouTube. Trying to get to, I think by the end of the month. I'm gonna give it to the end of the month. Trying to get to that 100 subscribers mark and build from there. Help us out. You can follow me at KYGRALPH on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, at an _X of Twitter, and then follow us on to get all your sports news at Juke Sports Show. JUK Sports Show, Juke Sports Show on Instagram. And so jumping straight into it, man, Indiana Pacers surprise a lot of people and get past the New York Knicks, as well as the Thunder make work of the T-Wolves. Before we get into all the SGAs and his praise, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals. Shout out to both teams for getting there. Thunder, I had them there. I'd never would have guessed that the Pacers would be there. But since they're here, what are the chances of them winning? And I think that they got a puncher's chance. I think in the end, what it's really going to end up boiling down to is, can the Pacers play at their pace? I said going into the Knicks series, if the Pacers can play at the pace that they like to play at, in the middle of the screen, the pace that they like to play at, I think they have every chance in the world to be able to beat the Thunder. I just don't think it will work because also the Thunder like to play at that same pace. They play at a very fast pace, get a lot of shots up, a lot of points on the board. So I just don't think it will work in their favor to do that because you're playing right into the strength of the Thunder. But when you have the opportunity to hit that many threes and they play at that fast pace to where they put up that many points, putting yourself in a position to be able to battle with anybody. And so in the end, I do think that the way I kind of measure things typically work, where you go through, you just pretty much go through, all right, we got 10 players on the court at a time, and you just go through 1-10. When you start to rank each player, when one side has more heavy hitters on one side than the other, that's where I think that this is. I can see a gentleman's sweep, if not 6. Thunder and I don't see it going 7, but I did see a quote: if it can go 6, it can go 7. And so, that was crazy. But I do think that the Thunder, when you start to look at it, you got SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, however you rank them, with SGA definitely at the 1. And then, all right, in between there, you can throw a Halliburton over a Jalen Williams. But then, where is Siakam in that? Do you do? Because I think that the 1-2 for both teams, I think is going to be, they're probably going to cancel each other out. I think Siakam make his print on these games, and I think that Halliburton will be able to make his impact on the game. But I think after that is where you start to have these issues, to where, all right, after that, now we're throwing in a Lou Dort. We're going to throw in Caruso. We're going to throw in Hartenstein, to where now on the Pacers side, can Nembhard, Nesmith, Miles Turner, can they make Mathurin? Can they make that much of a difference to where the Thunder's real strength is how deep of a team they are. And that's where I'm just like, in the end, I am going to go Thunder in 6 for the Pacers to get their first NBA championship. And so Durant, it's pretty much a far gone conclusion that he will no longer be a part of the Phoenix Suns after this year or going into this offseason. So where does he go from here? And best fit, I think two things. I think two teams. I think that right now, KD in his career needs to go somewhere where KD needs to go somewhere. He doesn't have to be the best player anymore. I think he could be your second or third option, be a catch and shoot guy, maybe create off the dribble when teams are closing out on shooters, and be able to still get his bucket. But at 37 years old, 36 years old right now, I just don't see him winning a championship in a scenario where he's the best player. So I've seen like a team like Orlando, but I think that him and Paolo are too even right now that I just don't see that quite out in the end. So I am gonna say I think that if you're able to get KD without having a hemorrhage team like the T Wolves, I think the T Wolves would be great fit for him because he can just step in and play off ball with Anthony Edwards, where his evolution as an individual player needs to get where he needs to dominate the range and becoming more of a willing passer. Which I do feel like he had a good year this year, but let's look up Anthony Edwards. Yeah, he had like about 5 assists, which I feel like 28, 6, and 5 are his averages. I feel like he can get to that 30, that 36-6 mark. And I feel like with an efficient style of basketball, that's championship level talent. And so best fit right now, I think him being able to play off of the T Wolves, but also the team is good, but I wouldn't say it's that deep of a team yet. You have Nas Reed, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, Gobert. Then I go to like younger players or more role players, and that's where if your younger players can now take either starter spots or key role minutes, because you got White Dante out there who can shoot the lights out. Alexander, the cousin of SGA, he showed that he's a very viable, important piece of a role player playing defense, be able to get buckets when need be. He had a couple games where he had about 20, 23 points a game. And so I think that team and that style would work with KD as long as you don't have to give up. Like if you can give up like a Julius Randle and a few draft picks, maybe even throw in one of the role players. I wouldn't throw in Nari, White Dante, or Walker, but I probably would throw in maybe like a Terrence Shannon, or Dillingham. Although I would prefer to keep them because I think that Dillingham has a real future, learning from Mike Conley and becoming that future starting point guard alongside of Anthony Edwards. So Giannis is another one that's fit for him. Giannis is frustrating to me because I think that being able to play off the ball is going to be his best, where he's better suited, but his game is going to have to change to be able to do that at a high level. Right now, he has the time to be able to go get buckets from anywhere in the court, but I do think that he needs to learn to be off a little better, setting screens, rolling to the basket, maybe popping for a cool little mid range or a 3-point shot, or even just read and react type stuff. But I just don't think that he has the skill set to do that right now, where it's kind of like the same thing with Anthony Edwards, where they need to grow from where they attack on the floor to where wherever they go, the team will be able to thrive at a high level. And I just feel like Giannis right now, I think New York, I love him going to New York. The Greek community out there, him being Greek in New York, how hard he plays, the way that the team thrives off of the crowd thrives off of that. So I think in the end it would be a great fit for him, but I just think that the rest, what the team would have to give up to get him, as well as a um, just like a skill set, like with putting him next to Brunson. Yeah, I think he gives a playmaking and defensive ability that I think wherever he goes, he needs to go somewhere where he's off ball. He's not going to be so ball dominant. And I think that where he is in his career, I think he's about 29 years old. Uh, I think he'll be better suited playing off ball rather than being super ball dominant. All right, how old is this man? Yeah, he is 30. So I just feel like right now he's just a little too old to be so ball dominant and be able to win a championship, especially the way that the league and that the guards, many guards in the league, the way that they play, especially for New York. Now I think that the conversation changes where he would go and what his best fit would be, depending on the situation. So if he's going somewhere day one, he's going to try to win a championship. Um, I think that he's going to have to change his game. Now, if he just goes somewhere, wants to be the guy, maybe build a year, build a team to where they will be like, if you go to the Nets, there's some skill pieces there that where he would be able to get them in the playoffs just from him simply being. I think that Cam Johnson, and there's another Cam over there, but I can't think of his name right now. Both of them are bucket getters. I think being able to play alongside of Giannis would be able to put points on the board. I think Cam is a tough defender. I don't know about the other Cam. He's definitely more of a I'm going to get buckets kind of guy. But I think that if he goes there, he doesn't really have to change his game too much, but also you got time to grow with the team. And so, but if he goes to the Knicks, it's like win now mode. You're going to have to change the way that you play in order to really be able to fit in with that team. And then hopefully they don't have to give up too much to get him. It's probably getting to the point where it might be annoying to y'all, but hey, it is what it is because we're talking about him almost every week. Shedeur Sanders has been balling at OTAs, rookie mini camps, impressing his teammates. Are you surprised that Shedeur has impressed in OTAs? No, I'm not. I think going into this, I told people off the rip, and I'm going to see if I can find my draft prospects. All right. And I think that going into this, he is a good looking out. Not surprised at all. Going into this, before I even get into what's being said, this was my breakdown of him as a quarterback, a prospect for the quarterback position. And so he was confident, moves well in the pocket, even though he lacks mobility, but he's consistently accurate, given that he led the nation last year in a completion percentage, low assist, not assist, sheesh, low interception rate with a high touchdown rate, and threw for 4,000 yards. Shout out. Appreciate you for pulling up, love. But I think what you're seeing now is all of that. He has the swagger. You got many people walking around going like this in Cleveland nowadays. The team is surrounding him, talking highly of him. Coaches are speaking highly of him. It's looking like right now to the point where it might be a little bit of a situation when it get down to preseason of who's actually going to be that third quarterback behind Kenny Pickett as well as Jacko. Because before this draft, nobody was talking that highly of Dylan Gabriel. I watched many interviews when I was doing my breakdown, looking at him as a player and seeing how he would translate from being a Heisman finalist to into the league. And I just don't see it. I had Shador as the best quarterback just from a skill set right now, being ready to go of all the quarterbacks. I had him as the best in the draft. Now, do I think in the end, I think that Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, and I've said this before, their ceiling is higher from what they're able to do. But Shador is coming in doing exactly what I said he would do. He's being accurate, playing with swagger. It's still early. It's only OTAs. It's not even like the real training camp where guys is really going to be getting after him. But facts. Like he was in college. You were good. This is the pros, and I just don't see him being. And even in that conversation, I hate the fact that he even got drafted before Shador. Shador going to the 5th round is like, we know what that is. There's no way. You can sit here and call it whatever you want. He showed up unprepared, wearing headphones in the meetings. Yeah. Shannon Sharp calls it bull jive. That's that bull jive. And so I think he's doing exactly what I anticipated him doing. I think that he'll continuously get better. He's got the right attitude, but in humble, head down, ready to work hard, first in, last out type of guy. And so the Knicks, I brought it up earlier. Knicks lose to the Pacers. Thibodeau fired. Did he deserve it? And this is the one where I think that it's like one of those situations where as much as we disagree with Mark Jackson getting fired from a coaching standpoint, how it worked out for the Warriors is something to be studied. Because I think that, yes, Thibs was getting it done. He got them to an Eastern Conference Finals to where they had a real opportunity, but they should have been able to get it done in the end. When you look at the rosters, he only played the role players out of desperation. Aren't going this way, he gonna throw them in. They play well, and then the very next game, they all playing 8 to 12 minutes where they just got done playing 16 to 18 minutes. And when you really looked at it, you go through the analytics of how it worked out. They played better without Jalen Brunson than they played with him against the Pacers. Now, not going to sit here and act like, oh yeah, man, you got to put Brunson on the bench and give these role players much more minutes. I'm just saying, kind of tailor it back a little bit in this particular matchup. He's getting worked out. He's getting outplayed by Halliburton. We got to figure something else out. And I think that his inability to go to his bench is one of the things that held him back in this moment to where now if you have a coach where Thibs did a great job of establishing the coach, playing hard, defense, giving everything you got, team aspect of things, I think he's done a heck of a job to where now the next coach can come in and build off of the defense. And they have some offensive talent out there. Now you get an offensive coach who can go out and put points on the board and be able to motivate guys. I think this is an opportunity, and I thought that this was really dope. I don't know because of the whole how things ended in Golden State, but Mark Jackson coming back to New York would be perfect story of a head coach. That would be dope. I think that would be lit. So Thibs fired. It sucks in the end, but I do think in order for them to get to the next level, sometimes you got to drop a dead weight. And Thibs was getting to the point where he just was running guys to the ground. Starters was getting too many minutes to where they're tired, and it just looked like they fizzled out in the end. And 2 years in a row, Thibs, you got to go. Appreciate what you did, though. And so, where am I at? I got fast breaks left. And SGA, they've been having this conversation in sports world of SGA. If he wins the title, will he now be the greatest Thunder player ever? And I think regardless, I just think that when you think about what he's done currently versus what Russ and KD did, I just don't see he has not surpassed them from an individual standpoint, let alone team standpoint. I think that the era in which he's playing in is benefiting him to a certain degree to where you have to use it. No, it's not the end all be all. I can't prop up the Thunder for who they played and shit on this the KD and Russ Thunder. I can't prop them up and shit on SGA's Thunder team. They're in the same level of talent, but I do think that you have to use it and put it into consideration to really be able to have this conversation and the nuances of this conversation. I think that KD played. I think he played 8 years. Yeah, 8 years. 7-time All-Star, 5-time first team, 1-time second team, 4-time scoring champ, and an MVP. Then Russ is a 8-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA. Hold up as I pull up Shay's stuff. Whoops, that's there you go. 8-time All-NBA. He's a 5-time second team, 2-time first team, 1-time third team, 2-time assist champ, 2-time scoring champ, and he also has an MVP. And so I just think that Shay's done enough. Yeah, it's been a couple of years, and he has the potential to do so. But right now, he only has a scoring champ, an MVP, 3-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. So he has the trajectory, and he's on a trajectory of doing so. But right now, as we speak, I see, man. I feel you. I think he has the right eventually. Yeah, if he does this for like, I'm not saying that he needs to do it like Russ got 8 All NBA teams, 8 All Stars. He has 7 All Stars and 6 All NBA teams, 4 scoring titles. So I just feel like he has to at least get to like KD's 6 Stars or at least 6 All NBAs before we start to have a conversation of him being the greatest, even if they're in the title, because I just feel like the KD and Russ team they had to get through the Spurs, they had to get through the Lakers, they had to get through the Mavericks. Like every year, there was great teams that they had to get through. Where like, how many great teams that like once we think, well, if we go back and we start talking about the teams that the Thunder played in, we need to give them some credit. But I just feel like the lack of top tier talent in this era is entirety. And I just feel like you could have went through 6 teams that could have won championships in that era that the Thunder had to get through, which they ended up falling short. But I do think that SGA is on his way. I love watching this game. I think that I hope that this part of the league is what it gets copycatted. Because for years we were watching teams chuck up the 3 and SGA's mid-range work. I hope Anthony Edwards goes in and studies him as well. Being able to attack with your back to the basket, mid-range, post-game, 1 dribble pull-up, 2 dribble pull-up. And it's just to be able to work your game through 3 levels. Because after the Warriors, we pretty much were shooting threes or floaters and layups. And so I do hope that this is something that ends up being copycatted, but we'll see what happens. And so I got to go over. I watched the Aces play the LA Sparks on Friday, and it really got me thinking. As hyped as I was about pulling up, I think that I don't know about the Aces' chances to get to the finals. I think that now in the end, she could just be getting her footing. They're 4-2 right now. They've only played 6 games, but right now she's not really. She's the fourth option, most certainly, because you got Asia. Asia's averaging 23 and 11, 4 assists and a few blocks. Chelsea Gray is averaging 12, 4 and 4. Jackie Young is averaging 18, 3 and 3, and Jewel is giving us 10 points, about 5 rebounds, and about 3 assists. So she's not too far off, but from a scoring standpoint, it's not efficient, and it's a little scary in a way, because I think that in the end, Indiana, they're going to get Caitlin Clark back for. She's not going to miss that much of the season to where she'll be able to counteract some of the losses that they have over the last couple weeks or last couple games. And so I do think that Indiana is going to end up being a force. You're going to have to deal with Minnesota. You're definitely going to have to deal with the Liberty. And so I'm a little scary given Jewel Lloyd's slow start, but she's a big bucket getter, a big time bucket getter. So I'm hoping that it fixes itself when we get closer to when the games mean more. And so NCAA has been changing or talking about changing the transfer portal. Transfer portal. Kind of similar to what the fantasy period looks like, to where right now you're able to transfer right before the game and after spring game is where the transfer portal opens up. And people feel like it needs to be just one time because having to put that much energy into both. So at least should they change for portal to just one time period or leave it at 2 times a year? I think that in order to really be able to teach these kids how things work, I think at this point we need to let go of them thinking that they're college kids or college students. They're amateurs. I think that you need to start teaching them what life in the NFL would look like, how you would get paid, contract, as well as just the amount of times that you can leave. I think eventually we need to get to a one-time transfer, as well as one time a year. But the other one is a little bit more of a hot take. I hate the whole I'm gonna go over here. I didn't get a chance to start, so then go over here the next year, and then it's like you look up the person who played at 5 colleges in 5 years, ain't really do much with it. So I think in the end, I think we need to go down to one transfer portal, 1 year, make it like a free agency type period, especially with the NIL deals and boosters, and now certain people are going back to college to be GMs of the schools that they played at. And so in the end, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to this NCAA game coming out too, because I'm gonna have my PS5 by then. So y'all gonna have to fuck with your boy after that. You're gonna be seeing some real ball content. But I do gotta get up out of here. Thank you all for watching. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's been scrolling around the bottom, but make sure you go like, subscribe, comment, share. Follow us at Juke Sports Show on Facebook. Once we get to 100 followers over there, I'll be able to go live straight from Facebook instead of having to use my page. Make sure you go subscribe at Juke Network. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the month. And then from there, subscribe Juke Network, JUK Network on both Facebook as well as YouTube. You can follow us. Sports will be given to you at Juke Sports Show, JUK Sports Show. And you can follow me at KYNGRALPH on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, @_for Twitter. And I'm going to get up here. I appreciate y'all.